The first critical choice that I made on my journey was to pick up the phone. And this was, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, almost 30 years ago. So it was a long time ago, but it was uh, the first choice I made that impacted me to where I'm at today. I think we all make first choices, and I've made first choices since then too. And our first choices could be practical or profound. What is a first choice that you've made when you reflect, it has impacted your journey?
So it's interesting. You say you picked up the phone. For me, it was I applied. So I was thinking about what I wanted to do after college, and I knew that I wanted to enter the social impact sector, but I was not I just wasn't finding a job that like made me feel like I wanted to like go forward, or quite candidly, the jobs that I wanted to apply for that I knew I could do on paper, I was underqualified for because I had literally just graduated college. So
Right.
as I was going back and forth, my husband really, I have to give him credit because he oftentimes pushes me that extra mile. We joke sometimes which one of us is like more intense. But so
like who pushes who?
Yeah.
Right.
In different ways. But so he was like, why don't you go get your master's degree? You know, you're going to need it in this day and age. Oftentimes, like at this point, a higher degree like is really important. He was like, why don't you just get it done? Find a program that excites you and like put the job search on hold and like continue your education. And so I looked at a few programs in nonprofit management, nonprofit leadership, and I found this program at the University of Pennsylvania, a master's degree in nonprofit leadership. And my first reaction was, this sounds great, but like it's Penn. I'm never going to get into Penn. And my husband was like, you will never get in unless you apply. So he's very, very pragmatic man I married. So I applied. Not only did I get in, I actually received a merit scholarship, which was like a lovely, graduate school. It was like a lovely surprise. But that was my first choice, to pursue a degree in nonprofit leadership at the University of Pennsylvania. And it was when I was taking a class on philanthropy that I had my light bulb moment. I knew that I wanted, again, to go into the nonprofit sector. It was really focused on programs, program implementation, direct service impact. But it was in that course, in that program that I applied for, that I recognize the value of philanthropy as the driver in the programs that drive social change. And so for me, that was my moment where I knew I wanted to pursue a career in philanthropy, that I had the opportunity to learn more about fundraising consulting as a career path, and then began my journey at CCS nearly 10 years ago. So the first choice to your question that impacted my career journey to enduring success was to apply for something that felt like a reach, but that was really meaningful to me to make happen.
It's awesome. And can we keep going there? You're now an instructor.
I am. Yes.
You teach at Penn State. So just say a little bit about that. Yeah. So what do you teach there?
So it's I teach a fundraising and philanthropy course called The Donor Journey at the University of Pennsylvania School of Social Policy and Practice. So my journey did come full circle. I joined the Alumni Association board after I graduated. I was invited to TA, and right after I TA'd, I knocked on the program director's door and was like, so here's the syllabus for the class I'd like to teach. And I've now been co-teaching for about 4 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm going to take us back a little bit to the first choice, because you even said, your husband pushed you a little bit, you won't get accepted until you apply. What is it about making first choices that is difficult?
It goes back to the fundamental fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of what if I'm not good enough. I just read this phenomenal book called Professional Troublemaker by Lovey Ajayi Jones. And it resonated with me on so many levels, because it basically, every chapter was like the fear of, and instead of being fearful of, it was like how to flip the narrative. But really it was for me, like, what if I don't get in? Like, how embarrassing would that be? And really now, like, as a fundraiser, I'm like, well, you're not going to get anything if you don't ask. So it was really important to kind of take my own advice before I knew it was my own advice.
Yeah.
But for sure, it was like, what if I fail? What if I don't get in? Like, what if I get rejected? Like, that's really going to suck. And it was the complete opposite scenario. I got accepted with flying colors in the course of the program, like changed the course of my career.
It's wonderful. Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.